you got to be on your phone to go to the next ride.
You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah. It's an extension of our arms.
It is. It is.
Fun hour. We made it through.
We did.
Did you survive is the big question.
I did. I survived, and I had a great time with you guys, David. We always enjoy having you with us.
Thank you.
We do, my
so
friend. Because you're back in the field tomorrow.
Back in the field, yes.
What's
Stephanie has to come back.
Can you say what you're doing?
Yes, I'm going to be on a mansion tour tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
This is a home that was featured on Zillow Gone Wild.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah, and we've got our hands on it tomorrow with the realtor, the broker. It's for sale, so.
Oh, why are you pointing at me?
Check your bank accounts before tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the hour. Have a great Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow. David will be on the mansion hunt.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good morning to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. We've got a number of things planned for you in this next hour here on Fox 35 News Plus. I want to let you know some of what you can expect, and I'll also give you a live look right now at Daytona Beach from our Hard Rock Hotel camera as the east coast of the United States deals with dangerous swells and surf from Hurricane Erin. Several hundred miles off the coast of the United States right now. Let me show you this, which you can kind of see the track of that storm as it moves up the coast. We know folks in North Carolina are really bracing for some impacts. They've had some evacuations in the Outer Banks, but we are feeling those some indirect impacts of the storm all up and down the east coast of the United States. So we'll have more on that in just a little bit and talk about it more with Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Jessica Dobson as well. The city of Orlando launching mobile shelters for the homeless. They're called 407 Connect buses. We have talked about them before because this has been a process to kind of move them through and get them approved by the city. Conduct those kind of renovations on retrofittings of the buses. 2 buses that are going to help house up to 42 people each night. So we will hear more about that. That launch was just unveiled just a little bit ago here in the city of Orlando. So we will take you to that event coming up in a little bit. We are also going to take you to Volusia County, where the county council there is considering beach horseback riding. This was something they considered and took a vote on at their meeting last night that would allow horseback riding in certain areas of the beach in Volusia County. So we will dive more into that in just a little bit. So we got a busy morning for you here on Fox 35 News Plus. We're also expecting to hear from the National Hurricane Center, giving an update on Hurricane Erin coming up in about 13 minutes or so. So there is quite a bit going on this morning. We also are expecting a couple of high-profile suspects in court this afternoon. One of them, the man accused of sexually assaulting a woman on a trail. His name is Patrick Gamache, and he is accused of attacking a woman along the Seminole-Wekiva Trail in Seminole County and pulling her into the woods. Again, his first appearance is scheduled for this afternoon, and Fox 35's Amanda Ruiz has the details.
That situation that happened in broad daylight at a very popular trail. Now the sheriff's office says he's in custody. Deputies say 20-year-old Patrick Ganache attacked the victim while she was walking along a trail in Longwood. This all happened at 4 Monday afternoon. The woman told deputies she passed by the suspect, who was walking with an electric scooter, when he, quote, turned around and rushed up on her, grabbing her from behind in a bear hug style grab. He then sexually assaulted her. The report also says Ganache took off running when the 911 caller saw them, leaving behind a red t-shirt and the scooter. Fox 35 obtained that call. Take a listen.
Hey, you're going to be all right. I just called the cops. I found the assailant on the trail in the progress of assaulting the victim. They went in the southwesterly direction down the trail towards West Altamont.
Did you see him?
He's taken off. This is his stuff? Yes, I did see him. He left the scooter and some clothes here.
We also caught up with some frequent runners of the trail who say this incident is terrifying.
And the fact that she got attacked in the middle of the day is terrifying and absolutely horrible. And it's like awful, so awful.
Ganache is charged with sexual assault and battery. He is set to go in front of a judge later today. Reporting in Seminole County, Amanda Ruiz, Fox 35 News.
One other suspect due in court this afternoon for a first appearance is the woman who is now facing charges in connection with the crash that we told you about yesterday in Brevard County. It happened in Cocoa, where a woman was seen driving down State Road 520 in Cocoa with a man on her windshield, also accused of basically running him over after a domestic dispute kind of led to that whole incident. She's expected in court this afternoon, and we'll have updates on that later today as well. One other hearing, and that is for the Robin Severance Lopez. She's the estranged wife of suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez. She, alongside the suspended sheriff and a number of others, are charged in this illegal gambling ring, alleged illegal gambling ring out of the Lake and Osceola counties. She's due in court this afternoon for a hearing where she's asking the judge to try to get her GPS ankle monitor taken off. She claims that the monitor is a financial burden and she can't afford the cost of it. Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie has more on that hearing.
Well, Robin Severance Lopez is the estranged wife of suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez, and she is claiming that this GPS ankle monitoring device is a financial burden and she cannot afford the continuous monitoring. So she's asking a judge to have it removed and insisting that she is not a flight risk. Now, she and 4 other co-defendants are accused of running an illegal gambling business that generated millions of dollars in illicit proceeds for several years. She has pled not guilty to charges of conspiracy to use or invest proceeds from racketeering. If found guilty, she could face up to 30 years in prison. She bonded out of jail back on July 7th. The judge ordered her to turn over her passport and guns and have no contact with her estranged husband. Her hearing today is scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon. We'll be sure to let you know what happens.
We are also continuing to track the impacts of Hurricane Erin. Let me give you another live look at Daytona Beach from the Hard Rock Hotel camera, where we know they are seeing some rough surf and some large waves and swells. 3, 2, 1. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Jessica Dobson joins me now. And Jess, Hurricane Erin is just a monster storm out there.
Yeah, that's right. It's around a Category 2 hurricane, but really since this morning, it's been showing signs that it's getting its act a little more together. So over the last day or two, it's been encountering a lot of drier air, and that's caused it to kind of fall apart quite a bit, especially the northwestern side. And you can still tell that it's not, completely back to obviously its strength that it was last weekend where it was a Cat 5, but still it now has an eye wall once again, and that's going to indicate that it's strengthening. So we could see a Category 3 hurricane before today's all said and done with. We'll wait for that report coming in from the National Hurricane Center, but it is set to still move to the north, stay out of our hair in terms of direct impacts for Florida, but near the coast of, say, North Carolina all the way up to New Jersey, that is where they have tropical storm warnings in place for the potential of tropical storm force winds. So that'll be something they have to contend with, especially, say, the Outer Banks of North Carolina. That is where they're going to be expecting some incredibly rough surf, tall waves there. Beach erosion is going to be likely. We've seen those images of the homes along the beach where they're basically on stilts and most of them are abandoned. And I would not be at all shocked if we see more images of them possibly, falling into the ocean and just, yeah, they've been there for a while, but I have a feeling we'll see more images like that in the coming days. But looking ahead, in terms of the forecast cone, you see it safely veers and curves away from the U.S., not making landfall. However, they'll see the outer bands in the Carolinas and possibly as far north as, say, New Jersey. But for us here at home, the biggest impact is going to be the surf, the rough surf at that. And we've been watching our Daytona Beach camera pretty much all morning, and it has really shown just how choppy things have been out there. And while I know it doesn't look, that dramatic from this vantage point, but you have to think of how tall that pier is and how big the pier is itself. And we've had waves that have been crashing, almost halfway up, and it's been pretty rough out there. Surfers were out earlier this morning, and they were just getting battered. It was wild to see, and it's just going to be rough out there. Very strong rip currents, so a high risk of those dangerously, life-threatening, strong rip currents are going to be likely not only today, but likely through the end of the week as well. So that's something to consider if you maybe want to head out to the beaches, because I know today's rain chances won't be quite as high as what we would normally see, or quite as intense either. We'll talk more on that in a moment. But when it comes to the swells, we could see heights as high as 8 to 12 feet, especially a little bit further out. That is where we could certainly see some of those bigger swells and waves. But the rip current risk is going to be the highest impact. Officials are really urging people just to stay out of the water as a whole, all along the East Coast. And that's really for the entire U.S. East Coast, truly, all the way from South Florida to points north, because you got to think there's nothing in between the coast and this hurricane. So those impacts on the ocean are going to be as a kind of a ripple effect as we head throughout, next couple of days as it works and curves its way away from the U.S. But as I mentioned, those wave heights, they'll start to get a little lower and turn smoother in the coming days. And that will be largely due to the fact that we'll have an offshore wind versus onshore. So that will actually be likely better surfing weather, not quite as tall of waves, but still a little taller than normal. But when it comes to other things in the tropics we're tracking, there are a few different areas of development from tropical waves that are out there. So a 40% chance of development for this area off the west coast of Africa. That's a tropical wave. 40% chance of development, so a medium chance. And then we have a 60% chance of development, and this is one we've been watching for several days now. And this is going to be due to a tropical wave that's now working its way through the south central Atlantic. The good news is it looks like it's going to be curving and veering further to the north. So yes, it'll be right on the heels of Erin, but there's still some uncertainty in terms of how organized this will be able to get. We don't have, the most favorable environment for tropical development, but there's still enough out there to work with, and we could get a tropical depression or maybe even tropical storm Fernand as we head to the weekend or early parts of next week. So if that happens, we will let you know. Fernand is the next name on the list, but that 40% chance of development that's off the west coast of Africa, that one's going to be new for us today, specifically 40% chance because it has increased since earlier this morning and overnight. So let's talk about today's forecast as a whole. We do have this northerly wind, northeasterly flow, and that's helping to bring with it some of these coastal showers, and these will slowly try to make their way further inland. I would say areas west of I-95 have about a 30% chance of rain today. These are going to be very splash and dash because near the coast we'll have a slightly higher chance, maybe closer to 40, and at most I would say 50% chance of rain today. But these are not our typical summertime storms. It'll rain briefly, and then we'll expect these to move out. And it's not going to be terribly heavy, and it's not going to be as lightning filled as what we would normally see either. So these are going to be a little lighter and not quite as intense as what we would typically see for a rainy season summertime storm. But let's talk future clouds and radar, because we are going to be expecting these to likely peak in terms of their chances as we get closer towards, say, 2 and 3 o'clock, especially for inland areas. And we'll see these stick around through, say, 5, 6, 7 o'clock this afternoon and evening before things do slowly dissipate. And we could see some linger overnight, especially near the coast. But generally speaking, we're going to start to dry things out as we head into the overnight hours for the majority of us. But it'll be pretty typical of the pattern we've seen over the last couple of days. Our high temperatures will be, though, in the low and middle 90s. This is pretty typical this time of year as well, if not a degree or two warmer than average. So 93 degrees will be our high today. Our typical high is right around 92, so not too far off. We'll be in the low 90s along the beaches as well. And we'll also have some cloud cover to contend with today, especially I would say near the coast. It's not going to be quite as a clear blue sky as we might see, but we'll see rain and storm chances pick back up. Today won't be quite as thick and muggy in terms of the air. But even yesterday when I was out, it rained at my house, and oh my gosh, the sun came back out and it was just sweltering. I mean, it was hot. But next week, or really even as early as the weekend, we'll start to see that 60% chance of rain, and then temperatures will be right on par with what we would normally see. Those daily downpours and storms, and the lightning has been wild lately. So just even if it's pretty okay today, I would certainly use some caution towards the end of this week.
All right, good to know, so we can plan ahead there. Fox 35 Storm Team Meteorologist Jessica Dobson, we appreciate you joining us. And here is a live look at Port Canaveral from our Launch Credit Union camera on this Wednesday morning. You can see some of that cloud cover that Jess was talking about. You can also see, I believe that is Star of the Seas in port at the moment. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus. We are standing by for the National Hurricane Center, getting ready to give an update on Hurricane Erin and some of its impacts, specifically in North Carolina. Some of the impacts that are expected there, so we're watching for that. That should begin in the next couple of minutes. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. Want to get you to this National Hurricane Center giving an update on Hurricane Erin and talking about some of the impacts specifically that North Carolina is going to see. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Some sustained winds up to about 110 miles per hour. The central pressure down to 941 millibars. So as expected, Erin has regained a little bit of its intensity here this morning, but the main story is still the size of the storm. And you can see that despite the fact that the core of Erin is going to pass well offshore of the North Carolina coast as it turns northeastward and then east-northeastward as you go from Wednesday into Thursday. If you look at the forecast size of the tropical storm force winds that currently extend out over 265 miles from the center, that wind field is going to continue to grow, bringing tropical storm conditions, dangerous wave conditions to the North Carolina Outer Banks, and that big risk of rip currents along the entire East Coast. You can see everywhere here in red from South Florida all the way up through southern New England at a high risk of rip currents, moderate risk up into northern New England. So please, it's not going to be safe to get out into the ocean along much of the United States East Coast today and through much of the rest of this week. In particular, we're very concerned about the potential for life-threatening inundation from storm surge along the North Carolina Outer Banks from Cape Lookout up to Duck, including places like Ocracoke Island, Hatteras Island, Kitty Hawk, all the way up through Dare County, with the potential for 2 to 4 feet of inundation above ground level here in this area along the ocean side. And looking at the wording from our partners at the National Weather Service office in Morehead City, the highest water is expected to be in the ocean side area of the Outer Banks from late today through Thursday and into Friday. And there's going to be large waves expected to cause significant severe beach and coastal damage. Potential for roads on the Outer Banks, especially North Carolina Highway 12, to be washed out and possibly impassable at high tide. And the sound side areas along the Outer Banks are going to experience some highest water tonight into Thursday as the winds turn northerly as Erin passes to the east of those areas. If we zoom out a little bit, we can see that there is the potential for some coastal inundation all the way up through the mid-Atlantic states, the lower Chesapeake Bay, up along the New Jersey shore, 1 to 3 feet above ground level in some of those areas as well, with the potential for large breaking waves in addition to that. And the wind threat, we have a tropical storm warning now for the Outer Banks of North Carolina from Beaufort Inlet all the way up to the North Carolina-Virginia border. And those warnings have now been extended northward up to the Virginia coastline, including Virginia Beach and the Virginia portion of the eastern shore. And even as we zoom out even farther, along portions of the mid-Atlantic coast, there is going to be the potential for tropical storm force wind gusts along the immediate coastline, but most concerned about the potential for those sustained tropical storm force winds along the North Carolina Outer Banks. So please stay safe as we go through the day today, tonight, Thursday into Friday along much of the U.S. East Coast. Again, try to stay out of those beach waters and pay attention to any warning flags that are flying there. You can always come back here to the National Hurricane Center for the latest on Erin at hurricanes.gov and find the latest from your local National Weather Service office at weather.gov. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Brennan.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. This is a live look at Ocean City, New Jersey, courtesy WTXF, where we know they are also bracing for some indirect impacts from Hurricane Erin. You heard Michael Brennan from the National Hurricane Center specifically talking about the impacts in North Carolina and some of the more major concerns with some flooding and issues that they are bracing for there. Also want to let you know we are monitoring at this hour. This is a live look at the Texas State Senate, where we are expecting a vote shortly. This looks like it may be in the incorrect feed here. The Senate there is looking at the disaster preparedness and flooding, but we know this Texas House is getting ready to vote on a new redistricting map shortly, so that is something else we are monitoring at this hour. But in the city of Orlando today, the city launched the 407 Connect program. They held a news conference just a few minutes ago outside City Hall Plaza, where they unveiled these buses that will help house the homeless. There's 2 buses. They're custom designed 45-foot long buses that they've retrofitted and turned into essentially emergency mobile shelters. They will have insulated sleeping pods. They have restrooms, storage space, onboard security as well. And together, this is going to allow them to house up to 42 people each night. They also will provide these folks with case management services to kind of help ease the transition. This is new to Orlando. This is not a new concept. It is modeled after the successful Dignity Bus program that was launched in Vero Beach. We heard just a little bit ago from Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer and the executive director of the Christian Services Center about what this means for folks in Orlando.
I ran for office in 2003. I said one of the greatest challenges we have in Orlando is relating to homelessness, and it continues to be an issue for Orlando, for Florida, and for our nation as a whole. And the challenge is that it can't just be somebody else's problem. We simply can't push homelessness away and wish that it'll go away. We have to address it. We have to be part of the solution. We have to offer assistance to people in needing of support, and we have to do it together as a community. The City of Orlando remains committed to working with the community, and 407 Connects is a great example of that work and the collaboration and the innovation to do that. Through the city's partnership with the Christian Service Center, we hope to get more than 400 people into housing over the next 3 years, and it takes one step at a time. So we hope this also inspires other communities within our regions to look for solutions as well. I want to thank my Orlando City colleagues for their willingness to pursue bold strategies to meet the needs of our unsheltered population. I want to share my gratitude to the Christian Service Center, the great City of Orlando staff, Community Redevelopment Agency, and the Source for their support and determination. And finally, I want to thank the many residents who see past the myths of homelessness and are in favor of offering shelter and hope for our most vulnerable residents.
I want you to just take a moment with me and imagine a city where no one sleeps outside. Because today we launched something truly transformative, the 407 Connect project. This project's not just about buses, it's not just about beds, it's about imagination, dignity, compassion, and most importantly, conviction that every single person in Orlando deserves a safe place to sleep and a chance to rebuild their lives. Mayor Dyer and his team here at the City of Orlando have been fighting for unsheltered adults and children the entire length of his administration. They have had great successes, they've had a few setbacks, and they've remained undeterred because they know it's a fight worth fighting, it's a fight worth winning, and it's a fight we absolutely cannot lose. And for the Christian Service Center, this is a project that serves as the final piece of the puzzle for homeless services for us. We can now offer every conceivable service for people experiencing homelessness in Orlando, from food and showers to employment to case management and medical help, and now a safe and dignified place to sleep. The Christian Service Center for Homelessness is now the region's first fully comprehensive center for adults and children experiencing homelessness, and I hope you'll give that a round of applause because it's taken a lot of work. These buses will shelter 42 people a night, but it won't be the same 42 people over the next 3 years. We expect more than 600 of our neighbors will find refuge here, and more than 407 of them will be connected to permanent housing. And that's why we call it 407 Connect. Mayor Dyer has led the city in building world-class venues. The Citrus Bowl renovation, the Kia Center, the amazing venue behind us at the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. And today we add another landmark to this list. It's not in the same size and scope in terms of square footage, but it is important in that it restores hope. And just like these amazing venues that we have here, it shows that when Orlando dreams big, we make history. And we don't just look out for our visitors. We're the best at looking out for our visitors anywhere in the world, but we also look out for our own. And that's what today shows, is a commitment to our own neighbors. But let me speak plain. Orlando cannot solve homelessness alone. Every county in Central Florida, every community in Central Florida has adults and children without a place to call home. So today, as we celebrate this launch, I call on all of our neighbors in Apopka, Bartow, Castleberry, DeLand, Eustis, Fruitland Park, Groveland, Highland Hills, everywhere in this community that we can find people that are experiencing homelessness. Juneau Park, Jensen Beach, Kissimmee, Lakeland, St. Cloud, Titusville, Umatilla, Vero Beach, Weewahitchka, Winter Haven, Xanadu, Yahala, and Zelad. It's all important because all of these communities have one thing in common, that they have neighbors that are from those communities who are experiencing homelessness tonight. They're not from somewhere else. They're not hitchhiking to Florida to be homeless. They're from here. They're our neighbors, and we need to have their back one way or the other. And I'm so proud to work for a community here that is looking out for its own. People experiencing homelessness in our communities are 9 times out of 10 from the community where they're homeless. No veteran, no family, no child, no person should be sleeping on the streets tonight or sleeping in a car. We just started the second quarter of the 21st century, and I think we can do better. And so on behalf of the Christian Service Center for the Homeless, I thank you for believing that compassion and innovation can walk hand in hand. Together, let's make sure 407 Connect is not the finish line, but the start of a new regional movement to put heads in beds and neighbors into homes. Thank you. These are not the first mobile shelters in the United States, but they, as David alluded to, they're the first that are going to follow contemporary shelter standards. So when we go through intake and assessment and somebody is placed on the bus, they have a space on that bus until we get them housed. So whether that takes 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 years, they're on the bus until we get them successfully housed. People that come to our campus are assessed for different needs every single day. Some of them we help with food, some with clothing, some we get into jobs, some we get into medical care, and many of them we get into housing. We've rescued over 1,000 adults and children just this year. We're on track to do more than 1,500 by the end of the year, and this bus will continue to add to those numbers just one at a time every single day. David, you want to do it? Yeah. Each bus cost $175,000 to purchase and retrofit. That was completely done by the team at The Source. The program itself is going to roughly cost about $1 million a year to operate. About 2/3 of that is for the operation of the bus, and another third of it is for actually placing people in housing. So you can kind of do the math there, but that's what we expect. The overall cost per bed per night, after you remove the capital expenses, is about $33 per bed per night. So that works out as very low in terms of how shelters managed in the United States. So the funding for this comes from the Community Redevelopment Agency here as part of the City of Orlando. We'll also be raising funds on top of what they have granted us with to further get more and more people out of homelessness directly as best we can.
Eric, where are you going to park it? And it's going to be the same place every night?
So we're not talking too much about the parking of it because we wanted to make sure it's a secure space, that nobody's really hassling or causing problems with it. However, during the day, we're parking it in a city-owned gated lot that's very out of the way and no one will ever see it. It'll just sit there during the day, except for the days when I take it to Kissimmee City Hall, Sanford City Hall, Apopka City Hall, and ask them to take tours of it. At night, we will pull onto the campus after the Christian Service Center is closed. People will load on to the buses there at the Christian Service Center, and then they will offload there again in the morning. They'll stay at the Christian Service Center campus. We may park it at other community locations. This doesn't go around and pick people up. These are people that come to us who are with us for a very long time. So you won't see a lot of people coming back and forth.
We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Last night, the Volusia County Council advanced a plan or a proposal to allow horseback riding in areas of northern Volusia County on the beaches there. Again, they advanced the plan by a vote of 5-2. This was not final approval. It will be on another agenda for another meeting. The discussion last night centered around some of the location options, what some of the requirements of permitting would look like, or the registration, not permitting, but some of those requirements and registration, what that would look like. We also heard public comment from a couple of speakers as well, and I want to play for you a little bit of that discussion. This is from last night's Volusia County Council meeting, as the county kind of looks at the potential of allowing horseback riding on some beaches and what that might look like if they do end up approving it.
When I first heard this, I thought it was a joke. All right. Yeah, we would never do it. I didn't conceive of it. But the more you think about it, it adds one more thing to our tourism industry. There are people that like to ride on the beach. It's unique. You see it on many movies. Using the north end makes sense. Again, I would absolutely do not want it at the band shell. It's the wrong place for it. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it's unique, it's doable, and I think it's something that the county needs. Thank you.
I manage and own Equestrian Adventures of Florida horseback riding. Just a little bit about my business for perspective. We've been offering horseback rides on the beach since 2011 in Flagler County in Palm Coast. They gave us a designated place to take our horses, and we trailer our horses and meet people at a public beach approach. They've also created a path that we can take over the dunes that keeps us away from the beach business and the busyness. We schedule our rides according to low tide. They last about an hour. We take 10 and older. All rides are reservation only, and Pictures are included because I ask people not to bring phones or cameras for safety reasons. We take visitors from all over the United States as well as all over the world. It is definitely a bucket list thing. I have had people plan their vacations because of their reservations with our company. I meet the nicest people. We create memories for anniversaries, for birthdays, for special occasions, tourists, and also residents alike. We've been included in the top 10% at TripAdvisor since 2018. We've been featured in various local magazines as well as out-of-state media. In fact, St. Johns County just did a cover on us to top 10 things or top things to do in the St. Augustine area. We are featured in various hotels in Daytona as well as Hammock Beach Resort. I'm often told that people find us on Google by just simply Googling what are the best things to do in the Daytona Beach area. We work well with the residents of Hammock Beach and Flagler. Beachgoers are thrilled to see and experience horses on the beach. I can't even tell you how many pictures were included in. As a responsible business owner, I make sure my permits are up to date, my Coggins are up to date. I make sure as well Flagler County has a copy of my business insurance. Safety is the most important thing to me, the safety of my riders, of my horses, and of any beachgoers. Routine safety checks are performed throughout the ride. This is all to say that I think it would be advantageous for Volusia County to allow horses on the beach. Volusia County is already a top tourist attraction. People from all over Florida and the United States come to this county just for the beaches. Clientele that come ride with me are top-notch, very responsible, and they are amazing people. It could only add to the amount of people coming into Volusia County. I believe that responsible individual horse owners will also take this privilege very seriously. No one wants to put their horses or community in danger. I'm sure they would be willing to follow the rules that Volusia County puts in place for this privilege. And I know that from social media, the biggest concern is picking up after the horses. I actually get on and off my horse each time. I have a t-shirt bag. Sorry, I'm out. Do you want me to finish?
You're out of time.
I know
sorry.
I am.
That was the discussion from public comment last night in the Volusia County Council meeting. We also heard some discussion among the council members. Apparently this was something that a couple of constituents had asked the county to kind of reevaluate and take a look at, potentially allowing this. So this does move forward. Again, as I said before, this will be on another agenda for another meeting at some point. Where they will take another vote on this, and we'll see what ends up happening with that proposal, but we are keeping an eye on that as that story moves forward. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and we appreciate you joining us here on this Wednesday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Anticipation is building for Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, which is just about here. Joining us live now via Zoom to talk about this is Erin White, the lead publisher of EYNTK.info, and Matt Prevor. He's on the social media as @HHN Speculation Matt. And Erin and Matt, really appreciate you joining us this morning here on Fox 35 News Plus.
Excited to be here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Erin, we're just 9 days out now. Hard to believe, but a lot of excitement for this year's Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, I feel like we constantly talk about Horror Nights and we're always excited to see the next thing. And then bam, all of a sudden we're here. 9 days out, there's so many things to go and explore and do. I know that first weekend is going to be slammed. I have already had friends that were like, maybe I won't come this year. And then they saw all the announcements and they bought their tickets. So the fans are very, very excited.
Matt, you've been tweeting out a lot of pictures of the progress of the preparations for this. I want to show some of them and kind of talk us through what you've seen as they've really made a lot of progress on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, starting in about mid-July, we start seeing just a simple lighting truss. And then before you know it, we have all these props and food booths, and we practically have our whole event in front of us. And it's just incredible to see the progress. It's incredible to see how quickly the teams put the event together. And truly, especially this year, how much detail they're putting into all of this. It's really incredible to see.
Matt, what stands out to you about what you've seen so far as some of this progress goes?
I think just the scale of this year's event. We can look at things like the house in the scare zone called the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane. That area where this house is located is not typically used for a scare zone, or it hasn't been in a very long time. And to walk into that area and just see the scale of that building, you would think you would see that in a haunted house, but no, that's in the middle of the park. And you see that all around, all these big structures and things that have been put together. It's truly great to see.
Erin, talk to us about Club Horror.
Yeah, so there are only going to be 4 official scare zones this year, and there's going to be some new street entertainment. What that means is basically the same thing for someone that's walking around. You might not notice the difference, but Universal's going to be categorizing it separately. This Club Horror, it looks like we're going to have a DJ set up. They've got some stuff set up where they're going to be able to serve drinks, and it sounds like we're going to have a nightclub in the middle of the park, which I think is very, very interesting and exciting. We've already had those scare zones and people love to walk around and enjoy that space. But now this area is going to be a little less scary, a little more exciting, and maybe something just to go and hang out with. We don't know all of the details yet. So I think opening night, that area will definitely be something that people are checking out to kind of see, is this a success? Is this something that we want to see going forward? We've had some themed bars near that area in San Francisco before, where we've had character pop-ups, and maybe we'll see that again. This is already at the exit of the Fast and Furious Supercharge attraction, which during the day has some music in that area. So I'm interested to check that out. I think this could be a big fan favorite. Halloween Horror Nights is not always just about being scary. A lot of people go there just to enjoy the vibes. And this is just another great thing we've seen. We've seen artists in the past, like The Weeknd, show up, and that was a huge fan. They love that area. They love that haunted house, and looks like we're getting something like that again.
What do we think is going to be the biggest draw? What should people know and kind of prepare for with Halloween Horror Nights?
So, the IP slate this year is pretty much unprecedented. The popularity of all of these properties are incredible to see. I see it in my posts each day. The support is incredible. You see Five Nights at Freddy's. People love that. Terrifier, Jason, the Wyatt Six from WWE. It's just incredible to see how big these properties are. So I would just, expect those long lines. It's going to be a busy year, but, the best thing about it is we're all back in the fog, and it's going to be a great time. And I'm really looking forward to seeing these houses. Again, these properties are huge. So pack your patience, but it's still going to be a lot of fun.
There's a new stay and scream policy as well. Can you explain to folks, Erin, what that means?
Yeah, so it used to be before that you would kind of show up and have proof that, of course, you were in the park, or you could buy a ticket to get into the park for the last couple of hours. And then that would allow you to get in line earlier to go to some of the haunted houses. for Halloween Horror Nights. Now, instead of being put into a line exactly and kind of corralled into this area, you'll be able to get a wristband that's going to let you kind of roam around the park, and then at a select time, you'll be able to get in line for those houses. So I really think that's just going to make it a little bit easier for people that are visiting. It's going to get Universal, I'm sure, more money for merchandise and more money for food, because those people are going to take their time and instead go around the stores and do some stuff that they might have missed, because they would have been focused on the houses. It's kind of like what we see down the street at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Disney gives out these wristbands, and then as the park starts to close, they send security slowly through the lands, and they find out who has the wristband and who doesn't, and they take the people who don't have the ticket for that night and say, all right, it's time to go. I think that looks like it's going to be a win. I think that's going to help fans. I think it's going to make it a little less chaotic. We'll have to see opening day, but they already kind of tested that at the Universal Annual Pass Holder Nights anyway, and it seemed like it worked.
What are some of the best ways that people can prepare for opening weekend if you're going? Maybe it's your first time. Maybe you don't know what to expect. What do you recommend? I want to ask both of you, but we'll start with Erin.
I definitely recommend bringing a rain jacket. For some reason, Halloween Horror Nights is famous for getting rained out on its opening weekend. I don't know what it is, but it's almost every single time. You also are going to want to pack some patience. Like Matt said, it's going to be busy there. I mean, it's opening weekend of the biggest Halloween event in the entire world. It's a ton of fun, but just don't go into opening night expecting to see all 10 houses. If you have a pass, I go around, enjoy some of those areas, check out those details, because I mean, again, these scare zones, and I'm sure the houses will be too, but we can already see the immense amount of detail. So go, enjoy, take your time, try a couple things here and there. If you only have one night to go, definitely set a plan and prioritize. But if you have the pass, just enjoy the weekend.
Matt, what do you recommend, folks? What advice do you give?
I'm going to second Theron as well for the rain jacket. It always rains opening weekend. You need to come prepared with some sort of poncho. But yeah, I would also, like you said, be prepared for those crowds. If you're able to, maybe look into an express pass or an RIP tour experience just to ensure that you can get through all 10 houses in one night if you have limited time. But most importantly, just remember to have fun. This is what we've been waiting for all year long. This is just going to be an incredible year. Go with a group, have some fun, eat, drink, get some merchandise, and you'll have a great time.
We know preparations are also underway for Halloween at Disney Springs, and specifically Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar.
Yeah, that actually debuted yesterday. It's the Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar Halloween edition. It's going to be happening from now through November 4th. There is some really fun new food items and some drinks, and then the theming on the inside has been redone as well. There's new music, there's stuff hanging up in the ceiling. They've got a total of 5 appetizers, 3 cocktails, and a mocktail. I was able to try a majority of the items yesterday, and the 2 that I really enjoyed, there's going to be these little like zombie hot dogs that are twisted up. Those are really good. They've got a spicy sauce, and then every single one of the cocktails and mocktails is going to be themed. They even have little vials that you can dump into your drink. I think this is a great thing. There's no reservations for this, so you can just walk right up and go in, and they change the theme throughout the year. They have done Christmas in the past, and now they've added Halloween. I'm a big fan of that. As we all know, the second that 4th of July is over, Halloween begins, and Disney Springs is stepping into that now. More food items, more stuff to buy. I'm all for it.
Theron, is it hard to get a table?
Not really, no. I mean, yesterday was just because it was the first day, and every blogger and myself included all showed up trying to check it out. But normally Jock Lindsay's, unless it is like 6 o'clock on a Saturday, you can walk in and just grab a seat. They've got their seats outdoors and indoors. They've even got one that's sitting on a boat because it is themed to Indiana Jones and Jock Lindsay specifically for those adventures. So you can sit outside, you can sit inside, just kind of grab your spot, maybe enjoy a wonderful sunset and have some of these food items.
Matt, I want to get to your take on just kind of what makes all these Halloween events and Halloween-themed things at the theme parks here in Orlando and in other areas as well. What just makes it so special and so fun to check out?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I have been very lucky enough to go to haunts all around the world. But specifically here in Orlando, just I would say the culture for haunts is incredible. The way people come out in droves just to see what these teams have worked on all year long. And that's from HHN all the way down to local haunts, such as Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. It's great to see. And, each year I feel that haunts and different Halloween attractions in general are constantly raising the bar for what is possible in a Halloween experience. And it's truly great to see people come together, creative people come together, and it gives us the greatest haunt season of all.
You know, speaking of pushing the limits of what's possible in some of these, you know, my mind kind of goes back to the Terrifier house that we're going to see at Halloween Horror Nights this year, with the options for a wet or dry experience.
Yes, I was actually very lucky. I just got to attend Midsummer Scream out in California, where Mike Aiello, the creative director for Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, discussed this a little bit. We are going to have a dry and a wet path when you make your way through the house. He showed a picture of it. And what he described it as is you will get as wet. If you pick that wet path, you get as wet as if you were in the front row on Jurassic Park. So pack your poncho for the rain and for the Terrifier house. Because you will get wet. Art the Clown clearly has lots of fun in store for all of us. So that house seems disgusting, but it seems like so much fun, and I'm really excited to walk through it.
Theron, talk to us about Screamageddon in Dade City. That's just a few days away from returning as well, and this is certainly sounds like an experience.
Yeah, so that's going to be in Dade City. Like you said, it's going to be near the Tampa area. It starts August 29th. And it is intense. I went for my first time last year, and this is, unlike Halloween Horror Nights, you can get touched inside these houses. You're going to wear something that specifically lets the characters know, but you're in these houses, and last year I got put on a bed and slid into an oven, and that was intense. There's a lot of stuff that happens with that. One of the ones they're famous for is they do blacklight paintball zombie shooting. So you get onto a bus, and you're going to be shooting at zombies inside of the woods. It's a wild experience, especially if you played like the Call of Duty Zombies games in the past. It felt a lot like that. It's a very different haunt. It is going to be a local haunt. It's going to be one here that doesn't necessarily have the intellectual properties, but they do have their own houses and their own storylines. The new one for this year is the Kilgore's 3D Circus. They're also going to have themed food items and themed drinks that you can go and enjoy. But this is just a different option. I mean, I feel like Central Florida has an insane amount of Halloween offerings, all the way from something that a 2-year-old can enjoy to adults that want to have some drinks or go to something that's a little bit more intense and more scary. This is another one of those options. And again, I did it last year. I plan on doing it again this year. Their houses are very intense.
Yeah, I mean, you took the word right out of my mouth. I was like, that it seems like a whole nother level, Theron.
Yeah, it's something you do, I believe, have to be mentally prepared to go, you know, when you're heading into that house. Now, you don't have to wear the necklace that lets them know you want the more intense experience. But even if you're not, I mean, you're still going through these houses sent group by group. So you're going to be in a small group walking through. There's characters right in your face. They're going to be able to talk directly back and forth to you, which sometimes might make it less scary or more scary, depending on which house you're in. But if you are going to wear that necklace, I mean, there was people that were separated into different rooms. Things can happen. There's special effects. So that's just something to be prepared for if you go there. If you're wanting something very, very scary and intense, I definitely think this might be an option for you.
And there are so many good options, it seems like. I mean, I think we only touched on some of them today, but there's certainly more things out there for people to get into this Halloween season if they want to.
Absolutely, yeah. There is stuff all through from, like we said, the small haunts up to the huge intellectual properties. I definitely think Florida has everything from even the food items, like we said at Jock Lindsay's.
Well, Theron White, lead publisher of EYNTK.info, and Matt Prevor, at HHN Speculation Matt on social media. Really appreciate y'all joining us this morning here on Fox 35 News Plus. This has been a lot of fun, and you've given us a lot to look forward to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So yeah, just days away now from the start of Halloween Horror Nights, and a lot of excitement building for that. Well, we appreciate you joining us this morning here on Fox 35 News Plus. We still have a busy day of streaming ahead. I want to let you know that at 3 o'clock this afternoon, Governor DeSantis holding a news conference. We will have extended Florida Live coverage that will begin at 2 o'clock and continue through that news conference and into Fox 35 News Plus at 4 o'clock as well. We are continuing to monitor developments of Hurricane Erin, give you a latest look as we continue that track as it moves north along the east coast of the United States. North Carolina bracing for a lot of impacts. We are still seeing some of the rough surf in areas here. Let me give you a live look from our Daytona Beach camera here. And you can see some folks walking along the shore there. Not a ton of people in the water. You do still see some folks in the water. But again, there is that warning for the rough surf, the large waves that you could really see earlier, and we were kind of zoomed in more on the water. But don't underestimate it. It is certainly strong and much stronger than we are used to seeing. Thanks for joining us. Again, we will wrap up our coverage here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we still have a lot to get to this afternoon, so keep it here on Fox Local, and we'll talk soon.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good morning to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. We've got a number of things planned for you in this next hour here on Fox 35 News Plus. I want to let you know some of what you can expect, and I'll also give you a live look right now at Daytona Beach from our Hard Rock Hotel camera as the east coast of the United States deals with dangerous swells and surf from Hurricane Erin. Several hundred miles off the coast of the United States right now. Let me show you this, which you can kind of see the track of that storm as it moves up the coast. We know folks in North Carolina are really bracing for some impacts. They've had some evacuations in the Outer Banks, but we are feeling those some indirect impacts of the storm all up and down the east coast of the United States. So we'll have more on that in just a little bit and talk about it more with Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Jessica Dobson as well. The city of Orlando launching mobile shelters for the homeless. They're called 407 Connect buses. We have talked about them before because this has been a process to kind of move them through and get them approved by the city. conduct those kind of renovations on retrofittings of the buses. 2 buses that are going to help house up to 42 people each night. So we will hear more about that. That launch was just unveiled just a little bit ago here in the city of Orlando. So we will take you to that event coming up in a little bit. We are also going to take you to Volusia County, where the county council there is considering beach horseback riding. This was something they considered and took a vote on at their meeting last night that would allow horseback riding in certain areas of the beach in Volusia County. So we will dive more into that in just a little bit. So we got a busy morning for you here on Fox 35 News Plus. We're also expecting to hear from the National Hurricane Center, giving an update on Hurricane Erin coming up in about 13 minutes or so. So there is quite a bit going on this morning. We also are expecting a couple of high-profile suspects in court this afternoon. One of them, the man accused of sexually assaulting a woman on a trail. His name is Patrick Gamache, and he is accused of attacking a woman along the Seminole-Wekiva Trail in Seminole County and pulling her into the woods. Again, his first appearance is scheduled for this afternoon, and Fox 35's Amanda Ruiz has the details.
That situation that happened in broad daylight at a very popular trail. Now the sheriff's office says he's in custody. Deputies say 20-year-old Patrick Ganache attacked the victim while she was walking along a trail in Longwood. This all happened at 4 Monday afternoon. The woman told deputies she passed by the suspect, who was walking with an electric scooter, when he, quote, turned around and rushed up on her, grabbing her from behind in a bear hug style grab. He then sexually assaulted her. The report also says Ganache took off running when the 911 caller saw them, leaving behind a red t-shirt and the scooter. Fox 35 obtained that call. Take a listen.
Hey, you're going to be all right. I just called the cops. I found the assailant on the trail in the progress of assaulting the victim. They went in the southwesterly direction down the trail towards West Altamont.
Did you see him?
Yeah, he's taken off. This is his stuff? Yes, I did see him. He left the scooter and some clothes here.
We also caught up with some frequent runners of the trail who say this incident is terrifying.
And the fact that she got attacked in the middle of the day is terrifying and absolutely horrible. And it's like awful, so awful.
Ganache is charged with sexual assault and battery. He is set to go in front of a judge later today. Reporting in Seminole County, Amanda Ruiz, Fox 35 News.
One other suspect due in court this afternoon for a first appearance is the woman who is now facing charges in connection with the crash that we told you about yesterday in Brevard County. It happened in Cocoa, where a woman was seen driving down State Road 520 in Cocoa with a man on her windshield, also accused of basically running him over after a domestic dispute kind of led to that whole incident. She's expected in court this afternoon, and we'll have updates on that later today as well. One other hearing, and that is for the Robin Severance Lopez. She's the estranged wife of suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez. She, alongside the suspended sheriff and a number of others, are charged in this illegal gambling ring, alleged illegal gambling ring out of the Lake and Osceola counties. She's due in court this afternoon for a hearing where she's asking the judge to try to get her GPS ankle monitor taken off. She claims that the monitor is a financial burden and she can't afford the cost of it. Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie has more on that hearing.
Well, Robin Severance Lopez is the estranged wife of suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez, and she is claiming that this GPS ankle monitoring device is a financial burden and she cannot afford the continuous monitoring. So she's asking a judge to have it removed and insisting that she is not a flight risk. Now, she and 4 other co-defendants are accused of running an illegal gambling business that generated millions of dollars in illicit proceeds for several years. She has pled not guilty to charges of conspiracy to use or invest proceeds from racketeering. If found guilty, she could face up to 30 years in prison. She bonded out of jail back on July 7th. The judge ordered her to turn over her passport and guns and have no contact with her estranged husband. Her hearing today is scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon. We'll be sure to let you know what happens.
We are also continuing to track the impacts of Hurricane Erin. Let me give you another live look at Daytona Beach from the Hard Rock Hotel camera, where we know they are seeing some rough surf and some large waves and swells. 3, 2, 1. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Jessica Dobson joins me now. And Jess, Hurricane Erin is just a monster storm out there.
Yeah, that's right. It's around a Category 2 hurricane, but really since this morning, it's been showing signs that it's getting its act a little more together. So over the last day or two, it's been encountering a lot of drier air, and that's caused it to kind of fall apart quite a bit, especially the northwestern side. And you can still tell that it's not, completely back to obviously its strength that it was last weekend where it was a Cat 5, but still it now has an eye wall once again, and that's going to indicate that it's strengthening. So we could see a Category 3 hurricane before today's all said and done with. We'll wait for that report coming in from the National Hurricane Center, but it is set to still move to the north. Stay out of our hair in terms of direct impacts for Florida, but near the coast of, say, North Carolina all the way up to New Jersey, that is where they have tropical storm warnings in place for the potential of tropical storm force winds. So that'll be something they have to contend with, especially, say, the Outer Banks of North Carolina. That is where they're going to be expecting some incredibly rough surf, tall waves there. Beach erosion is going to be likely. We've seen those images of the homes along the beach where they're basically on stilts and most of them are abandoned. And I would not be at all shocked if we see more images of them possibly, falling into the ocean and just, yeah, they've been there for a while, but I have a feeling we'll see more images like that in the coming days. But looking ahead, in terms of the forecast cone, you see it safely veers and curves away from the U.S., not making landfall. However, they'll see the outer bands in the Carolinas and possibly as far north as, say, New Jersey. But for us here at home, the biggest impact is going to be the surf, the rough surf at that. And we've been watching our Daytona Beach camera pretty much all morning, and it has really shown just how choppy things have been out there. And while I know it doesn't look, that dramatic from this vantage point, but you have to think of how tall that pier is and how big the pier is itself. And we've had waves that have been crashing, almost halfway up, and it's been pretty rough out there. Surfers were out earlier this morning, and they were just getting